How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. I am the Lore Dragon, and this is a time-lapse of the VR chat commission I made for Dio Thorn. It's going to be an anthro horse model. If you don't know what anthro is, that just means anthropomorphic. So I start off with a base body that I use for just about every furry avatar that I get across my commissions. They are almost always the same in most aspects, so I just kind of reuse that same base. But I always make the heads from scratch. They're all just a little bit different. And this is really the most fun part for me. So I start off by making a few essential loops around the snout, around the mouth, the eyes, and then of course I draw up the jawline. These are going to be the most important loops whenever you're creating a head from scratch. And then you just kind of connect them together however you see best. I'm not the absolute best when it comes to topology, but you know, it's effective and efficient enough for VR chat. So now we're just filling in the gaps here and there, trying to figure out where I want these lines to go so that they don't become too much of a problem. And then we just do some light sculpting here and there just to get it to shape like a horse. The reference picture that I'm using in the back was actually done by my sister. She does all of the reference art for characters who don't have their own character sheets already. She does a good job, but this is just the pencil sketch that she did, but that's all I really need to get started on the commission. Later on, you'll get to see the line art for the commission that I use to finalize the hair, but this is kind of like working on the sketch of the model while all I have is the sketch. Realizing the eyes are like way too small. Alright, let's just kind of slap those in there with a couple of spheres. And then once the eyes are in there, we can start molding the eye sockets to fit the eyeballs. His eyelashes are made from just the same loops that I used for the eyes. That way they fit the best. And then the eyebrows can just fit anywhere when it comes to a furry model. I used to despise modeling the inside of a mouth, but I've kind of gotten to a point where it takes me only a few minutes to do, so it's not as bad anymore as it used to be. The nose, I don't have to make a loop for it. I just take a couple of squares where I think the nose is going to be, and then I just inset those faces. Every furry's paws tends to be a little bit different, so I always have to model these from scratch. At least with a horse, all you got is the hooves. Horseshoes, I guess. The rig is already done. Again, it's just a base that I use for pretty much all VR chat furries. Nothing too special there. Just have to make it fit the uniqueness of this model. Alright, now we're working on putting together the tail. At first I thought I was going to use a collection of loops, but then I changed my mind and decided just a bunch of NURBS paths would be the best choice. And I was right. So instead of just using a NURBS path on its own, I make a little diamond out of a NURBS circle, or a Bezier circle, and then use that to shape the NURBS paths. Makes it a little lower poly, because this model needs to be compatible with both Quest and PC VR, so I'm going to need to keep it as low poly as possible right now, so that whenever I decimate the faces later, they don't fall apart, basically. Decimation doesn't make your model low poly just by clicking a button. You do have to keep it low poly to begin with, or otherwise, whenever you decimate it, the whole model's just going to fall apart. I'm not using a subdivision surface to model this thing, because, again, it's going to need to be compatible with the Quest and with PC VR, so if I used a subdivision surface, it would kind of give me a false sense of smoothness for the model whenever the topology doesn't really support that. Just making some simple teeth for a VR chat avatar that's supposed to be toon shaded. These teeth are good enough. They don't need to exactly be photoreal. Same thing with the tongue. This hair is mostly going to be a placeholder because I still don't know what the final design for the hair is going to look like until my sister finishes the line art, which she does by the time I get done with this video. I'm just kind of putting some hair down here with some NURBS paths. So because this horse was supposed to be based off of a Clydesdale, we needed to make the legs nice and furry. I'm kind of experimenting with putting a whole bunch of NURBS paths down here just to see what it looks like. I think for the final design, I don't stick with this much fur. I think I cut like half of this off, but this just kind of lets me visualize what it's going to look like. There's probably more polygons in this leg fur than there is in the entire model at this point. Not the best. Yeah, there we go. I cut most of it off. I think I give it like maybe 2 or 3 layers, and that's about it. Now I'm just adding a little bit of detail to the chest. That way, whenever you add the outlines, you can kind of see the light amount of muscular definition that he's going to have in his chest. He didn't want a super hardcore ripped horse furry or anything like that, so just something like this was enough. Now we're UV unwrapping him. I don't think that I actually caught or recorded the painting process for some reason. So you're not going to be able to see me actually paint him, but that's okay. You'll see the finished product. It's not that complex. There's nothing crazy going on here. It's just a simple UV unwrap with some very light base colors all over the place. All right, here's the line art for the model. Now that I have an idea of what his hair is going to look like for the final design, I can go ahead and start putting some more work into it here. My sister will usually get in contact with the commissioner and finalize the design with them. It's easier for her to make changes than it is for me at this stage, so once she gets the line art done, it's set to go. This is probably the longest process of this entire model. You kind of have to be a hairdresser to make the hair look good. I don't put anywhere near this much work into my own hair in real life. So once I've kind of have an idea of where the NURBS path hair is going to go, I convert it to a mesh, and then I start pulling out little bits here and there using extrusions to kind of make it look a little more messy. Rather than using a whole other NURBS path, this kind of helps save on the polygons for the hair. Then I just copy paste a few of the lower bits of the back of the hair to give it a few layers. And I just repeat this exact same process for the tail, making it look a little more messy and spiky in places. So this is pretty much all of the footage I got while making this model. Sometimes I just forget to hit record. But here he is in VR chat. Thanks for watching, guys. If you'd like for me to make a tutorial on how to paint a model like this, then just let me know in the comments. It's a pretty simple process, so I can just kind of redo it. If you'd like to commission a model like this for yourself, check out the links in the description below. I work through Fiverr or through PayPal, whichever you prefer. So thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next time.